Hello friends, I have a fun card for you today. This is a flip and pop card. It looks just like a regular card on the front, but when you open it up, the front piece pops up and flips in. So from this way, the card folds flat like this, and when you open it up, it pops like that. It's an easy card to do, so let's get started. Card base is 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 5.5, pardon me, scored at 4 1/4. We have a piece of designer series paper, which is 4 1/4 by 4 by 5 1/4, pardon me. We have a rectangle piece of cardstock, which is 3 by 4, and we will score this together. And we also have a little piece of cardstock that is 3/4 of an inch by 2 1/4. So to get started, we'll score our pieces of cardstock using the scoreboard. Let's try to make sure you can see this here. Okay, so along the 4-inch side, we will score this at 1, 2, and 3. Make sure that's 3. Okay, scored every inch. This little piece, put it in the quarter, we will score it at 1 1/4. Just one score line on it. That's it for scoring. We want to make sure these pieces are folded well, so we make it all mountain folds. And then reverse it so that it's well creased. This is the pop-up mechanism. It'll be put together that way. This is also part of the pop-up mechanism. Give it a good crease. Okay, so what we need to do is put the designer series paper on the front, and we will only put adhesive around the edges of the designer series paper because we want the center free. We don't want the center taped down. So just around the edges. Okay. And adhere that to the front of the cardstock. Now we're going to do the cutout for the pop-up. I'm going to be using the Tasteful label dies. There's the number of the dies if you are interested in getting them. I'm using the largest, well, pretty much the largest label that is in the die set. So this is the whole die set. What we need to do is flip this open, center this, take a piece of washi tape and tape it. I'm just going to put this on my shirt so it isn't as sticky. Center it. And then I'll just run it through my cut and emboss machine. Okay, the centerpiece is cut out now. Grab the tape here. We will need to use this piece of cardstock for the pop-up. This piece of designer series paper that is cut out can be used another time. Okay, so we have this. Now we're ready to put the mechanism in place. Take your piece of 3x4 cardstock and put tape only on one side of this rectangle, on one of the 3-inch sides along the edge. And we will take this, lay it on the back of the card, the inside back, center it pretty well, right up against the score line, and seal it down. Then we'll take and fold this in half and put adhesive along one edge here, and close the card and press it. And that way you have your little box pop up. Okay, now we need to add the additional little spring up. Okay, and we will take it and glue the long side to the little box here. So put adhesive on the back of the long side of this little 3/4 by 2 1/4 inch. Now we stick it on in the center of this opening, not hanging over the cardstock, like that. So it gives it a little pop here. Now what we need to do is embellish this piece of cardstock. I'm using the Pansy patch. This is the Pansy patch Pansy patch stamp set. I'm going to be using the greetings out of here, happy birthday and love you much. The stamp sets are now coming with images on the inside of the cover. What you're supposed to do is take the stamps off of the pieces of plastic and adhere them inside your stamp set. I decided I'm not going to do that because I like to be able to read what the stamp set says. So these ones have been stained with ink and I can read what they say. And if they're stuck on here, they only show backwards. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So I'm going to stamp the words on this. Not happy birthday first. I want to put love you much on the front. I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss. And I stamp it down low here. So there's that. And on the inside, I'm going to put happy birthday in the lower left corner because I don't want it to interfere with my pop-up. I want it to be seen. Oops, might have smeared it a bit. Oh, no, turned out okay. Whew, got lucky. Okay. So now I'm going to put my embellishment of the pansy on the front. The pansy dies are here. I had to put them in another case because there's so many. The dies on this side of this package, these will cut out the stamped images as well as some of the images in the designer series paper. So these two leaves I use to cut out leaves for the pansy that I'm putting on this card. This side of dies will cut out a cardstock pansy. This piece and two of these are what I use to make the pansy. This for the face and this for the center. I use these, actually I use these for the leaves because I use designer series paper. This will do the bud, these two stack on here. And then this will do the outline of the frills, you might say, of the pansy. So I've gone ahead and cut out my pieces of the pansy, and I have sponged some already, and I have one left to do here. So I'll just go ahead and sponge this one. And I just use the edge of the paper and the sponge. And that's again with Blackberry Bliss. Now to put the pansy together, I like to use Tombow. It just seems to work a little better with glue. I put a little bit of glue on the end here. Glue it to the back. A little bit of glue on this one. Glue it to the back. And then I'll put it onto the card with a dimensional so that it has lots of stick, lots of places to stick. Then there's the little face part of the pansy. That's what I call it anyway, the middle accent. And again, I use Tombow for it. This goes right on there. And then the little yellow dot in the center. Thank goodness the die cuts out 3 of these, because somehow I always seem to lose at least one when I'm making a pansy. Okay, and this goes on right here. Isn't that pretty? I like that. Okay, so I'm going to put this on dimensionals to put on this cutout, I guess, oval shape. I'm going to keep them low on the pansy because the top part is going to hang over a little bit. I have some leaves here that I cut out of the paper. Use those 3. That's going to need an extra bit of tape. Oops. Oops, it's sticking where I don't want it. Wasn't being careful. And this one. So these 2 I will put on here. These 2 leaves, the pansy, and I'll tuck this one in at the other end. This one doesn't look right. There, that looks better. I think I can put another dimensional right up at the top here. Okay, now we can add the pansy to the front of the card. What we're going to do is we're just going to put tape on this small section of this little flip-up tab. Only on there, nowhere else. Then we're going to fit this die cut back into the opening it came from and glue it onto that little tab. And there you have it. It's ready for popping up. See? Let me move the ink pad here before I get ink all over everything. See, and I got some on myself. So close the card, you just kind of give it a little push down like this. Well, sometimes it works. Anyway, the card is like that. Open it up. The pansy flips on the inside and pops up. You can see the mechanism. The little pop-up tab is right here, and the box is right here. And that's it. I hope you like it. Take care.